Every day, millions of people log online, look at the same puzzle, and manage to solve real-world mysteries that have baffled professional investigators for decades. In 1997, a 40-year-old man named William Moult went missing in Florida. The police investigation went completely cold. Then, 22 years later, a property surveyor casually scrolling through Google Earth noticed a submerged shape in a Wellington neighborhood pond. It was Moult's car, solving a 2-decade-old case with a satellite image. Or take the case of the Grateful Doe. After an unidentified young man died in a 1995 car crash, amateur web sleuths took it upon themselves to circulate a facial reconstruction across message boards. By navigating a massive subculture of Grateful Dead fans, they successfully identified him as Jason Callahan. This works because of a statistical concept known as the long tail. When you have a massive volume of varied information and millions of amateur eyes analyzing it, the mathematical probability of finding that one crucial link drastically increases. The internet has democratized the detective process. By pooling their free time and niche expertise, ordinary citizens have become a massive force multiplier for the criminal justice system. But there is a distinct difference between a random surveyor stumbling across a car and the government actively mobilizing the internet. Today, law enforcement agencies explicitly ask the public to solve crimes, like when the FBI publicly released encrypted notes found on a murder victim, asking anyone online to help break the code. Police departments rely on this tactic because the sheer volume of digital data generated today vastly outpaces their traditional resources. They have the official databases, but the public has the manpower to comb through them. When the state invites millions of unregulated citizens to act as an ad hoc police force, it creates a legal gray area. Because these digital volunteers are not sworn officers, their actions are governed by a different set of rules than the ones that limit the power of the police. To understand that gray area, we have to look at the Fourth Amendment. This is the foundational legal shield protecting Americans against unlawful searches and seizures by the government. In the mid-20th century, the Supreme Court established a legal precedent known as the private search doctrine through decisions like Coolidge versus New Hampshire. The rule of this doctrine is highly specific. Fourth Amendment limits apply exclusively to sworn law enforcement. If a private citizen conducts a search completely on their own, without government coercion, they are exempt from these constitutional constraints. This legal framework was designed for the physical constraints of the 1970s. Today, it governs the limitless expansion of 21st century digital data, creating a mechanism where private individuals can do what the police cannot. This diagram shows exactly how the modern loophole works. If a police officer illegally hacks your device, that evidence is thrown out in court. But if an anonymous web sleuth hacks your device, finds evidence, and hands it over to the police, courts will often accept it, because the sleuth is technically a private citizen. Knowing this, police departments actively encourage amateur detectives through true crime podcasts and social media campaigns. They point the crowd in a specific direction, but because they don't formally deputize anyone, they avoid triggering the legal test for state agency. The risk here is a dynamic data scientists call an information cascade. In an open digital forum, users will echo unverified information, assuming someone else already fact-checked it, amplifying rumors without any systemic quality control. We saw this failure during the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing investigation. Thousands of online sleuths pooled their efforts, generated an information cascade, and wrongly identified an innocent missing college student as the bomber, unleashing severe trauma on his family. Outsourcing justice to an anonymous digital mob allows the state to bypass constitutional red tape. But as the Marathon case proved, bypassing those rules can result in unchecked vigilantism and the public targeting of innocent lives. This dynamic relies on a sociological concept that philosopher Michel Foucault called responsibilization. It is the idea that the state can effectively manage the public by conditioning the public to manage itself. You see this playing out every day. It is the driving force behind neighborhood watch apps, publicly accessible crime databases, and police departments subsidizing civilian purchases of doorbell cameras. This represents a fundamental shift in democratic governance. In this model, citizens act as both the agents conducting the surveillance and the objects of the investigation itself. This animated scale illustrates the legal solution modern scholars are proposing, creating a more robust agency test for the Fourth Amendment. As police direction of a crowd increases, Fourth Amendment protections must rise to match it. The new boundary would be straightforward. If law enforcement heavily encourages, shapes, or directs an online crowd's investigation, those citizens must be legally classified as state agents. The collective wisdom of a digital crowd is a highly effective tool for solving cold cases. But without modernized legal boundaries, the digital quest for answers will inevitably cost us our civil liberties.